The story begins with Parker telling us that the way a spider weaves its web is no different than how we go about our lives. He says that he didn't choose to get bitten by the spider or gain any superpower. All he ever planned on was being plain old, not being Spider-Man. So, all he can do is try to make the right choices, no matter how many weird places they take him, like working for a company called Oscorp. One day, he receives a phone call from his boss, Norman Osborn, to go get back an Oscorp truck that has been hijacked and is heading in his general direction. He gets mad that Osborn put a tracker in his suit, as they had already made an agreement. Osborn says that he didn't. He tells Parker that he signs his checks, so he knows where he lives, the amount of time he regularly oversleeps, and the most logical route he takes to get to work. He asks Parker to suit up and reminds him to retrieve his stolen equipment, as that would be a big help. Parker has a high-tech suit and a robot buddy to accompany him. During the police chase, Parker's robot causes the truck to lose power and head toward a lady without the brake, but she is saved by Parker. He confronts the criminals using every move he has to take them down and wraps them to the truck. The spider robot gives $1 to the musicians for helping Parker with their music during the fight. While Parker is talking with the citizens, he is watched by a wasp named Shathra from Earth-001. She has turned many Spider-Men across the universe into wasps like her, and plans to turn Parker too. She orders her subordinate to open the portal to the Prime Dimension. Then she lets out her children to go get Parker. At the Spider Sanctuary hidden away in a secret corner of the Spider-Verse, 3 of the Spider-Women, known as Zarina, Anya, and Julia, are aware that Shathra is making her move into Earth-616 to get Parker. Julia considers him the chosen one who is the Spider-Verse's only hope, so she sends an impulse to all the 616 spiders to protect him at all costs. Julia asks Zarina about their new recruits if they can send any as reinforcements, but Zarina says that she wouldn't risk it because they are all pretty raw. Anya wonders where Zarina is going. She replies that she is going to open a portal to send their biggest weapon to help Parker, as they are out of choices now. While Parker is busy with selfies and autographs, he receives a phone call from Osborn, who asks if he can have the tech on the truck that was sent to Oscorp. Osborn doesn't want the police impounding it as evidence, because it's very valuable. Meanwhile, the Wasps have arrived on Earth-616. Parker evacuates everyone from the area, including releasing the criminals. He takes a closer look at one of the wasps and realizes it is a spider wasp, but not like any kind he has ever seen. Then a mysterious man comes out of the portal, known as Morlun, an old enemy of Parker. Upon seeing him, Parker rushes to attack him first without giving him an opening since he is too strong. But still, he manages to throw a punch at Parker to knock him down. Even the spider robot can do nothing to him. He destroys it like it's nothing and tells Parker that he wants to have an adult talk. But Parker doesn't negotiate. He shoots his web to cover Morlun's mouth and throws his hands rapidly. The force causes his suit to tear off, and he fails to land any punch on Morlun, which gives Morlun the opportunity to slam him to the ground and throw him into a vehicle. In a life-and-death situation, Osborn is worried about the suit instead of Parker. Parker eventually lands a shot to Morlun's face, and a second later, he eats a brutal punch that causes his mask to break. He has no power left to continue the fight, but he says he's got something better than a suit. Suddenly, Miles Morales, Cindy, and Jess show up to help Parker. Jess keeps Morlun busy while Parker wonders how they knew he needed them. Cindy says there was a voice in her head telling her to come here. The same goes for Miles and Jess. Cindy reveals that she has spent half of her life hiding from Morlun and the Inheritors. She has lost everything because of them. However, she doesn't care about a wasp that stings her and releases her anger towards Morlun, with Miles also joining the battle. Cindy demands her allies to back off as she wants to confront Morlun alone. Jess expresses that she likes Cindy's energy, but against an Inheritor, they are going to need a bigger team to defeat him. Surprisingly, they are approached by Spider-Man Noir, the Peter Parker of Earth-90214, who has come to help fight Morlun as well. Parker is excited that another Spider-Man has shown up. However, Noir doesn't come here to fight Morlun. This time, he uses a sword instead of his usual gun and stabs Jess through her belly. There is no blood coming out of her, and she doesn't feel anything. Noir tells her that she shouldn't because she has been severed from the web of life. Then, her body begins to turn into webs. She can do nothing except scream for help and concern about her son. While Parker mourns her death, Noir approaches to stab him from behind, but he is saved by Morlun, who reveals to Parker that his Spider-Verse has fallen, and he has been sent to aid him in a war against a threat even greater than the Inheritors. Noir has been turned into a spider-wasp by Shathra. He tells them that they all have been stung, so before long, they will switch over to his side. Then 3 more spider-wasps appear from the portal. In Earth 19999, Spider-Man receives a call from Tony Stark, that there are variants of him wrecking the facility. Tony advises him not to go in there alone and wait for backup, but he doesn't listen. The place is destroyed. There is a malfunctioning robot spider lying on the ground. As Spider-Man picks it up, 3 spider wasps approach him out of nowhere and turn him into one of them. Back on Earth 616, Morlun convinces the others to attack the spider wasps, as they have already butchered one of their friends. Miles tells Morlun to shut up. He believes they are from other dimensions, like monster dimensions. Cindy protests to Miles that those spider wasps are really their multiverse friends because she can sense it, while Parker wonders who did that to them. The 3 other spider wasps are known as Mayday, Hobie, and Gwen. Noir tells Parker that they have evolved. Mayday says they became one with the Hive, and Hobie suggests to Parker that he should become one of them. Knowing that their convincing isn't working on Parker, they begin to transform them into spider wasps by force. Cindy stops Morlun from killing Mayday, telling him that he has to follow their way if he is going to fight on their side. Mayday and the others are her friends, so she will find a way to cure them. Shathra declares through Mayday, and Gwen's voices that there is no turning back, as they belong to her now, and soon all shall belong to her as well. While Parker is in danger, Anya appears from the portal to shield him with her magic. He's amazed at how she's doing that. She tells him it is Mystic Spider Totem Energy, which is a new thing. Zarina appears to introduce herself to everyone as Spider UK and asks them to quickly retreat. Parker hesitates to leave because he is concerned about the Blade of Noir that killed Jess. He tells Anya that they can't leave him with it. If he uses it to come after them, it will be a big problem. She replies that none of the spider wasps can. She casts a spell, a mystic seal, and their portals won't work for a while in this dimension. Shathra wonders where all the spiders have gone. She asks her subordinate to show her where they have leapt to. The subordinate doesn't have a clue, but she knows they are somewhere beyond the multiverse. Shathra screams in rage, expressing that Parker is one of the only souls to ever defeat her. The spiders are now in Earth 616 Beta. Zarina tells the others that this place is an anomaly. Her best guess is that Earth 616 Beta was a test run, a trial universe to work out all of the kinks, and it's not part of the Great Web. If you don't know what the Great Web is, it is a 3-dimensional construct in 5-dimensional space that acts as a model of the entire multiverse and enables travel between realities. As far as she can tell, Shathra can't see it from her loom world. Cindy feels like she is starting to forget Jess, and Miles feels the same way. Anya says that Jess was severed from the web of life. It's as if she never became a spider, like she never existed. However, Anya tells the others that they need to honor her and keep her memory alive. Zarina introduces the spiders to a church that, in their Earth 616, this church is called Our Lady of Saints, but in here they don't have a name for it yet, so no one goes inside. It's the perfect safe zone. Parker asks her not to call it a safe zone because the last time they did that, it didn't turn out so well. That was when the Inheritors invaded and slaughtered dozens of the spiders. Parker isn't satisfied that Morlun reminds them of that. Morlun doesn't understand why Parker is upset with him as they are in agreement. He says, even though he once digested Parker's life force, Parker still remains a mystery. Anya interrupts their argument and asks them to come inside. She would like to introduce them to the rest of the team. There are 5 spiders waiting inside, each of them known as Serge, Petra, Cooper, Felicia, and Charlotte. Miles is amazed to see Kraven in a spider form. Petra is the spider power princess who loves to sing. She introduces her team to the spiders by singing, while Parker is tired of her sound. He thought it couldn't get weirder than a talking pig. He greets Felicia, who is the night spider. She usually robs from the rich, unlike the rest. Her quote is different from others, which goes with great power comes no accountability. She can go anywhere and take anything. Parker is disappointed with her. He expected she would be better than that. He is shocked when she has his utility belt, showing us that she is literally the night spider. Julia shows up to thank Zarina for the approval to let their new recruits save Parker. Parker is excited upon seeing Julia. He says that with her on the team, there is no way they can lose, because she can see into the future. She responds that it's not that easy. They have been fighting this final battle of the Spider-Verse for some time now, and losing. She kept him off the table in case of emergency, and she didn't want to risk losing him until there were no other options. Now, he is their last hope. She tells the team that Shathra plans to sting them all to transform them into her drones, but a few of them have proven immune to that attack, mainly the spiders from Earth 616. Parker says it still hurts like hell. He asks her if that kills them. She says not really, and that leaves Shathra with only one other option to kill the rest of the spiders. which is the totem dagger that Noir used to kill Jess. The totem dagger can sever their skein from the great web, like they were never bitten. She assumes that Blade possibly took countless more of the spiders, and there is literally no way of knowing. However, only Parker can put an end to that. Zarina tells Parker that he is the Peter Parker of the Primal Strand, the chosen one who can save them all before Shathra remakes the entire Spider-Verse in her own dark image. Parker accepts himself as the chosen one to save the Spider-Verse and asks them to confer with his buddies first. With no offense, Miles says that he looks up to Parker, but clearly, Parker isn't the chosen one because his whole life is a big mess. Cindy interrupts by saying that there are two things she thinks they need to deal with right now. One, it's bugging her having Parker walk around in half a costume, and two, is Morlun. She spent half of her life hiding from him, and she doesn't feel right when he is on their side. She needs to know exactly what his story is. She also patches up Parker's costume. Cooper is upset that Parker didn't ask him for a new suit, as he could have given him such a glow-up. Parker promises that next time he will. He confronts Morlun about why he's on Team Spider now. Morlun responds that every second they waste, Shathra's forces are hard at work, rewriting all of reality. But if they must do this, so be it. As for his part in this tale, he was on a quest to reunite with his family, the Inheritors on Earth-001. A trail of half-whispered rumors led him to believe that Shathra and her forces had returned home to Loomworld. Traveling to Earth-001 is far from an easy task, especially without the aid of the Master Weaver. But then he remembered many spiders possessed those wondrous portal devices that could make the trip. So, with a little arm twisting, he found one of the spiders who was willing to lend him a hand. The exact location of where his family is held required a little imagination. In his previous encounter with the spiders, they reduced all the members of his family to infancy and left them in the care of an old crone of a nanny named Maybelle. He was speechless when he found out that she had turned into a spider wasp and ate his family, which left him as the last of the Inheritors. Filled with equal parts of rage and duty, he battled across Loomworld, fighting swarms of those spider wasps until he reached the throne room and their dark mistress, Shathra. He confronted her to get revenge for his family. During the fight, Shathra said that this realm was home to gods and demigods long before the Inheritors. He and his kind were not the Inheritors of this world or the Great Web, and accused him that he was the thief, as the web was never meant for him. That is why his father had him consume the spider, so that the web would see him as one of them. After he said no, he escaped through the portal and encountered the spiders. With Julia's senses, she witnessed his ordeal and redirected him there. That is how he became friends with the spiders. Now that they have an inheritor and the chosen one, Serge fails to see how they can lose. But Parker sees many ways. He says they need more people than this and wonders who else in the Spider-Verse hasn't been turned. Morlun is furious at Parker's solution because everyone in this church was all they could save from Shathra. Unfortunately, Miles has turned into a spider wasp, but he isn't under Shathra's control like the others. Shathra can now see through his eyes and hear his thoughts. Morlun warns the others that Miles will give them away unless they destroy him at once. Parker protests, not allowing anyone to destroy him, but the others have already made the moves. Serge reassures Parker not to worry, as they are just going to knock him out. Morlun insults them, saying that if they spare his life, Shathra will learn their location and bring her entire hive down upon them. Cindy asks Julia what is going on. As she said, no one from Earth 616 could get infected. She responds that Miles is different. He belongs equally to two Earths. Zarina wonders how that works, and she says that Miles once gave a hamburger to an all-powerful being who thanked him by rewriting his reality that way. Miles releases his power to knock everyone back. Now, he gets it that he can't stay there, so he plans to go fight Shathra by himself. Parker sees it as a stupid idea, but Julia calls it a smart play. He begs Parker to let him do it because Shathra will never see it coming. It's where he can do the most damage and keep her focus off all of them. He assures Parker that he will be fine and leaves for Loomworld with Serge, who volunteered to join him as well. They are now down 2 spiders, and they haven't even begun to save the Spider-Verse yet. Anya and Zarina comfort Julia, assuring her that everything will be fine. Julia shows everyone what they are up against. She says Shathra has taken control of Loomworld, home to the web of life and destiny. She has been reweaving it and killing every spider across it. But by using totem magic that Anya has been studying and portal science Zarina has brought from Otherworld, Julia thinks she has a plan to restore both the web and all of their spider friends. However, that doesn't include Jess. There is a way to get her back, but it's nearly impossible. So Parker gathers everyone to do it, even though it's not part of Julia's plan, and Anya wishes she never should have told him that. Anya tells everyone that there was a spider goddess who has had many names in many cultures. She was the first totem. With her children, she wore the great web in her hidden temple. In Central America of Earth 616, one child remains, a golden spider that can reweave lost strands. If they can sneak in and get past 1 billion traps, they can bring Jess back. Parker gives out his plan to everyone, stating that Felicia, Anya, and he will go to the temple. Zarina asks to keep Anya and Julia with her because the three of them have been running the whole show. Parker says they are just going to grab the magic doohickey, and he leaves Cindy in charge. Cindy protests because she doesn't want to stay with Morlun, whom she still sees as her enemy. But she calms down once Parker comforts her. They are now down 5 spiders, and their numbers have been practically cut in half. Morlun suddenly gets an idea and makes his way to get the totem dagger from Noir. If he were to stab Shatra with it, it would be as if she never existed. He declares that this is how he shall save both the Spider-Verse and bring back his family to life. The other 4 also follow Morlun to protect Noir. They don't want their friend dead because Julia said there is a way to restore him. Now, only Zarina and Julia remain in the church. Parker, Felicia, and Anya have arrived at the temple, located in Delvadia. The magic thing they seek is in there. It's the last child of Neith, a gold idol they can use to spin new strands into the web of life. Felicia says she got her powers from a golden Delvadian spider idol, and asks Anya what are the odds. Anya replies that Neith is the goddess of spiders and destiny. Parker says Neith is also the goddess of Egypt. He knows that because he is a huge nerd. He wonders why she has a temple/pyramid in Central America. Anya asks if he wants to hear about the secret society of spiders and their mysterious connections to Middle Eastern and South American cultures, or get the work done. Not wanting to waste time, Parker gives authorization to Felicia to do the job. Felicia shoots her web to the switch to open the gate, and suddenly it activates a trap. Parker and Anya dodge the arrows, while Felicia is shocked to see that happen because her spider sense didn't warn her about the danger. She guesses she is not used to working as part of a team and apologizes to them. In Manhattan, the spider wasps are still trapped in Earth 616. They get excited upon seeing the portal appear, thinking Anya's spell has broken. However, Noir notices that the portal is not one of their own. Morlun comes out of the portal to take Noir down, and the other spider wasps wonder why he would come back. The spiders appear to stop Morlun, and unfortunately, Petra gets stung by a wasp. The seal in Earth 616 has now broken, giving Shatra the ability to see where the spiders have been hiding. Because Petra got stung, Shatra gains access to her thoughts and discovers the spiders' plot against her. She declares to her subordinates that she knows where the spiders are hiding and where the Chosen has run off to, so she sends her swarm to go get them. In the temple, Parker and his friends choose to walk on the ceiling to prevent setting off the traps, but after a while, spikes emerge from both the ceiling and the floor. In that moment, Parker realizes that wall crawling is not helpful. As the ceiling starts pushing down, they use their strength to break through the wall and arrive at the statue of Neith. In her palm, there's a golden spinner that they were looking for. Parker asks Anya to read the totem inscriptions, and it says that Neith entrusted this, her last weaver in the web of life, to the Chosen One. After Felicia takes the golden spinner, suddenly Shathra's portals appear from above, revealing many spider wasps who are here to take them down. Julia informs Zarina that they are now doomed. Shatra knows everything about the loose thread and their sanctuary. However, Zarina refuses to leave because there is still something they haven't told the others. Julia warns her not to say out loud as Shatra could hear her. In Manhattan, Morlun has a hard time facing both the enemies and his allies, while Petra has now fully turned. 3 spider wasps retreat to fight Parker, leaving Petra and Noir with the spiders. Everyone is shocked to see that they have lost another spider to Shatra. Morlun gets tired of Petra's rhymes and asks her to shut up. He doesn't care if anyone turns into a spider wasp. All he cares about and what matters the most to him is the dagger. But his eyes open wide when he discovers that the totem dagger isn't stayed with Noir. Parker tries to fight his way out of the swarm and tells Anya to create one big portal to get them out of there. Upon hearing Felicia ask for help, Parker urges her to hang on. He will chip in when he can, as his hands are full too. Unfortunately, the golden spinner falls out of Felicia's hand and gets destroyed. Anya is discouraged because that was the only thing that could bring Jess back. She complains that all of this was for nothing. Parker asks her to stop that. He says they will come up with something else and encourages her to have a little faith. As long as he, the Chosen One, is around, they can still win this. But surprisingly, he gets stabbed out of nowhere by Gwen, who has had the totem dagger all this time. He can't believe that this happened and disappears as if he never existed. Julia, who can see across the Spider-Verse, is desperate upon watching them all fall one by one to the force of Shathra. In Earth 4145, Spider Biodroid and his Spider Treks, under Shathra's control, infiltrate Oscorp Plaza to get a canister from Osborn, who is the Spider-Man of that world, and a genius. Osborn tells the Spider-Man to go out there and keep them busy. He needs a little more time to send the canister out of there through a transmitter. Biodroid declares that he knows Osborn very well. Osborn is the same on every world, and all he cares about is winning. Biodroid convinces him to join the Hive so that he will be on the winning side. And with his genius mind in their colony, nothing would stand in their way. The Spider-Man is killed instantly after he comes out to confront Biodroid. Osborn successfully sends the canister somewhere else and blows himself up to prevent Biodroid from turning him into one of them. Julia tells us that Osborn was needed by her to save the Spider-Verse, but she didn't expect that he would have killed himself. She never told that to anyone, not even Anya or Zarina, who are her closest allies. She was waiting until the last moment to send Earth 44145 help, but it's too late. There is nothing she can do. Her forces are scattered to the winds. Serge and Miles are on a fool's errand in Loomworld. Petra has also turned into a spider-wasp. And the worst of all is the Peter Parker of Earth 616. The chosen one who is destined to save them all has been severed from the web of life. She cannot see the future anymore because there is only Shathra. Felicia and Anya try hard to keep up with the spider-wasps without Parker. A smile lights up on Felicia's face, revealing that she knows how to get them out of there with the temple's last trap. As she pulls off the web that she placed in the palm of the statue, the traps are triggered, giving them a chance to escape. However, Anya is not going to leave the temple with empty hands. She believes there is more treasure in this temple with all those carvings on the wall. She says the treasures are in a totem-based language she can read. She can feel that there is something they need there. But because those languages are talking about the Chosen One, Felicia urges Anya to leave as Parker has already gone. Shathra watches Felicia and Anya escape with no reaction because they leave without their prize, and that means nothing to her. Meanwhile, Miles and Serge have arrived at Loomworld. Shathra isn't aware of their presence. She has also sent her entire hive to Earth, and Serge sees it as their moment, so he arranges a plan to strike her. Miles thinks this is a very bad idea. They would never stand a chance against her. Serge says they can strike a massive blow for the spiders if they take out Shathra's subordinate. Miles realizes she is actually Annie Mae Parker, so he makes it clear that they are not going to take her out. Miles, upon hearing that Parker was severed from the web of life, releases power to shock Shathra even though Serge warns him not to, and Serge leaves him behind. However, his power does nothing to her. She's curious how he is not under her control, as he has been turned, but he doesn't reveal it. Zarina has found their secret weapon, who is the Spider-Man from Earth 616 Beta. Julia tells her that he can't save them, because he is not Peter Parker. Parker was the only one destined to save them all. She has seen it in her visions, and knows it to be true. But now every Peter Parker from across every Earth has been killed, corrupted, or undone, so no other spiders will do. Zarina doesn't care about that. She needs to collect all the help she can get. Miles is sent to the dungeon of Loomworld, where Shathra keeps the spiders that she can't turn into spider-wasps. There are 5 more spiders that are also imprisoned by Shathra. In Manhattan, Morlun demands Petra to reveal where the dagger is. She says her new friends have already put it to good use. She encourages them to worry about Shathra, as she knows they are here, and she will be coming soon to gobble all of them. Talking about devouring has made Petra a little peckish. She attempts to eat her own spider, but Cooper doesn't allow her to. As Petra starts singing, Cindy throws a hand to knock her out cold to shut her up. Morlun is happy to see that. He admits that he is enjoying this rash new side of her. She responds that wasn't rash at all, it was tactical. Shathra can see through Petra's minion's eyes, so knocking her out like that was like cutting off Shathra's live feed. Morlun says he can provide a more permanent solution to this problem, and attempts to end Petra's life, but Cindy stops him. She's going to find a way to turn her back. Morlun responds that he doesn't care. He is an inheritor, so eventually, he must feed. Meanwhile, 2 portals appear behind them. It's Felicia, Anya, Zarina, Julia, and the Spider-Man from Earth 616 Beta, who Zarina brought to replace the Chosen One. He is known as Peter Palmer. Instead of caring about saving the Spider-Verse, he cares about the salary, because from where he is from, he was a big TV star. Morlun can't believe this is the buffoon that Zarina brought to replace Parker. He would give anything to have the real Spider-Man back. Still in Earth 616 at Oscorp Plaza, Osborn has reacquired all of his stolen equipment. He tells the scientists that they have lost enough time on the project already, so he wants them to finish it by the end of the day. During a test on their new receiver pod, a scientist receives a canister from Earth 44145, sent by Osborn. Inside that canister is some kind of web, which piques the scientist's curiosity about its origin. Surprisingly, this scientist is actually Peter Parker. An hour ago, Parker was severed from the web of life, creating a new timeline for him in Earth 616. In this timeline, a woman was bitten by the spider instead of him. He was always bullied by his classmate Flash and vowed to find a way to get revenge on him one day. That night, Aunt May and Uncle Ben were robbed by Sandman, and Peter was there. When he attempted to attack Sandman, he got shot, which left him unable to walk again. Upon arriving at school, he was still bullied, but something had changed. Flash, who used to bully him, helped him against the bullies, praising him for what he did for his aunt and uncle. From then on, they became friends and spent most of their time together. One day, Sandman showed up at Parker's class to find a hiding spot, and Parker was shocked to see him again. Sandman saw this as an opportunity for a hostage situation, but was confronted by a Spider-Woman, who was actually Cindy, bitten by the spider. Thus, Earth 616 didn't have Peter Parker as Spider-Man. After Cindy saved everyone from Sandman, Parker became obsessed with her and became her #1 fan. He even built web shooters, spider tracers, and a spider signal. He contacted Cindy through his spider signal, and they met on the roof of Midnight Town. Cindy was surprised to find out that Parker was just a kid. Parker revealed that he was a tech enthusiast and wanted to return the favor for saving his life. He gave her his web shooters in case she ran out of her own, and a magnetic inverter to short out the vulture's wings. From that point on, Parker and Cindy became a team. With Parker's tech expertise, Cindy faced villains like Vulture, Mysterio, or Kraven the Hunter with ease. Parker excelled at local and national science fairs, winning an Oscorp scholarship due to his tech innovations. In the present day, Parker sends a message to Cindy about the canister that has come from another dimension and urges her to meet him. He receives a phone call from Uncle Ben and Aunt May, who invite him for dinner, but he apologizes and explains that he has something important to focus on. Desperate, the remaining spiders realize there is nothing they can do to stop Shathra. Morlun suggests that if they still had the dagger, they could enact his plan. Felicia reveals that she stole the dagger before leaving the temple without Anya noticing. With no other choice, Cindy decides to go along with Morlun's plan and has a way to make it work. Julia strongly cautions Cindy about this action. She can't see a single future where something like this has succeeded. Meanwhile, Surge shows up to inform the others about Miles and other spiders that Shathra failed to turn. He requires reinforcements if they are going to free them. Cindy asks Surge and some of them to bust those spiders out, while she and another group, with the help of Peter Palmer, will try Morlun's idea. She has read Parker's texts and asks Zarina and Charlotte to go give him a hand. She also needs Cooper for his costuming skills. Shathra's nest is almost completed. Once it's done, she allows her subordinates to swarm across the cosmos, and they shall feast. Cooper in the Noir costume and Cindy and Petras have captured Morlun and Anya for Shathra. Shathra doesn't understand why she can't see inside Noir's and Petra's minds. Gwen is suspicious about Noir's voice, as he has never sounded like that, and wonders why Petra stops singing. Suddenly, Peter Palmer appears to confront Shathra and her swarm. While Shathra is distracted, Morlun stabs her with the dagger through the chest, but that doesn't work on her. Serge, Julia, and Felicia are on their way to free the spiders. Mayday and Miguel are knocked out cold by Serge, and the spiders are eventually freed from the dungeon. Miles tells Julia that there are a couple more spiders they can recruit. She gives him a portal device, and Miles asks her to buy him some time. The other 6 are going to help fight Shathra, while Miles and the Spider Mobile are on their adventure to find the spiders. Morlun's plan has failed. He didn't know that the dagger only works on the spider. They have no backup plan either, and Cindy instructs everyone to save Morlun. Shathra calls Morlun a fool for actually believing in the myth of the Inheritors. She reveals the truth that the Inheritors were the totem themselves, the lowest of them all. They feasted on spiders to steal their power and their access to the web of life. Morlun and the other spider are brutally beaten. Shathra knows that the Spider-Man is a fake Peter Parker. She also knows about the real Peter Parker of Earth 616 and arranges to destroy him too. 2 spider wasps then appear to get Parker, but Charlotte doesn't let them get through. Shathra feeds the spiders to her swarm while Julia and the others arrive to save them. Morlun has accepted his defeat. He has no more motivation to fight Shathra, but he must feed, so he attempts to devour Cindy. To protect herself, Cindy accidentally cuts him with the dagger, and the light then shines from his wound. He isn't undone like the others, and Shathra's loom world is slowly destroyed. Anya notices that the carvings on the dagger match up with the ones she saw in the temple of the first totem. All this time, they have been calling Cindy the Bride of Spiders. Anya realizes they translated it wrong. In the language of the totems, a bride of spiders is their queen, and Cindy is actually the chosen one. Cindy now knows exactly what she needs to do. She cuts Morlun open with a big wound, and every spider that he ever consumed reweaves the great web. This could be a new reality. The web of life and destiny starts healing itself. It's like Shathra never corrupted it. Every spider that was under Shathra's control is now back to normal, while Parker builds a device that helps cure the spiders and restore the great web. All the spiders are portaled into Earth 616. Morlun is now looking weak and skinny because every spider he consumed is no longer stored in his body. However, this is not over yet. Shathra has transformed into a giant monster to take down the Spider-Verse, and Cindy orders every Peter Parker Spider-Man to launch the attack. Miles and the Spider-Mobile have returned. They went to all the dimensions Shathra blocked off and recruited all the spiders she couldn't turn. Shathra is now facing numerous spiders, but she sees them as no threat until the giant spider robots show up. However, they can only keep her busy for a while. Only the Spider-Man of Earth 616 can defeat her. Charlotte says they may have something better. Then Parker shows up with his great web shooter that he has just built to give it to Cindy, but she refuses to take it. She and the others motivate him to confront Shathra, and with his weapon, he is able to erase her from existence. While everyone cheers for Parker, suddenly Neith, the first spider totem, appears to gift them the talisman that could bring back Jess. Anya tells everyone who knew Jess, who has held onto the memory of her, to concentrate, and she begins chanting to reweave Jess back into the fabric of their lives. It works, and Jess has now returned back to life. Miles and Cindy are happy to see Jess again, but then something strange happens. Peter Parker, who was severed from the web of life, has returned in the body of the scientist Peter Parker. So, the timeline of scientist Peter Parker is now erased. He is concerned about Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and immediately contacts Aunt May to see if they are okay. Because he is the amazing Spider-Man, Uncle Ben in his timeline isn't alive like the scientist Peter Parker's. Aunt May woke up from the strangest dream that she thought Uncle Ben was still alive, and it felt so real. Parker tells her that he thinks they should start having a regular Thursday night dinner again. Every spider that was severed from the web of life is all returned, like the Scarlet Spider or the Spider-Boy, who is also from Earth 616. Spider-Boy gets offended when everyone doesn't know who he is, even Miles or Parker, with whom he has been on a million adventures, and he leaves the Spider-Verse in a rage. Everyone depends on Cindy to get them back to their worlds, but she doesn't want to be in charge as their leader. She feels weird that Parker isn't the chosen one. Parker comforts her that he can't think of a better chosen one than her. And from then, he returns to being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That night, he helps evacuate people from a burning building and isn't aware that he missed one floor. He gets blamed by a woman because her husband was the one he didn't save. A firefighter comforts him that it isn't his fault, as he did everything he could. He has a nightmare of Uncle Ben reminding him of a man that he failed to save. He is disappointed with himself that he didn't use his power to save his uncle. Even though he uses it every day, he still can't save everyone. And that gives him an idea. An electrician named Rudy comes to meet Electro, who was his colleague, to hire him for a job. Rudy says he has been installing new safes for some high-end customers, and they all have the same kind of electrical grid, stuff that Electro could shut down easily. He asks Electro for a 50-50 split, but as Electro doesn't agree, he goes down to 70-30. Even though it's 70-30, Electro still doesn't agree and shocks Rudy to his death, as he doesn't do splits. Osborn confronts Parker about drawing a dangerous amount of power into his lab. He reminds Parker that this is not how they do things at Oscorp. If something bad happens, he will be the one who gets blamed. He is shocked upon seeing the spiders say hi to him. Parker tells him that those are a colony of spiders from another dimension. They are all physically linked to one another. They all share a group spider sense. They know when other members of their colony are in danger, and Parker wants to tap into that kind of power. Knowing when he is in danger isn't enough for him anymore. He needs to know when other people's lives are at stake. However, Osborn doesn't support this idea. This is the kind of meddling that led him to becoming the Green Goblin. Parker responds that is why he needs Osborn's help, because as the Goblin, he came up with all kinds of weapons that could shut off his spider sense. Parker persuades Osborn to work with him, and put his old knowledge of the Goblin to good use for a change. Spider-Boy, also known as Bailey, can't find a scrap of proof to show he ever existed in this world after bounding around town for hours. Suddenly, He gets a strong vibe from the burned building that Parker was present at. With his sense, he sees what Parker did that night and discovers that Parker is going to do something crazy, so he hurries to go stop him. With the help of Osborn, Parker eventually receives the power that he wants, and he can now sense people nearby in danger. He helps a construction worker from falling off the building, saves a kid from getting into an accident, or prevents a helicopter from crashing. Electro follows Rudy's plan and releases his power to black out the whole block and ruin the grid for miles. Parker saves 2 of the workers from the torn grid that was caused by Electro and receives the damage all by himself. As Parker gets shocked, Bailey also gets a little taste of it because he has the kind of spider sense that Parker wants. Parker's spider sense has messed up. He can now sense the danger coming from everyone in the entire city. This causes his head to hurt, but he still goes out there to do his job. Bailey has caught up to Parker. He can't believe that Parker really did it. He says Dr. Connors used to creep him out by telling him about a time Parker did that, and he grew 6 arms. Osborn in the gold goblin suit shows up to blow Parker with a pumpkin bomb to knock him unconscious and captures him back to Oscorp. Electro realizes Rudy wasn't kidding. There are many golds in the vault. However, he could only bring a couple of gold with him since he didn't bring his men or bags to pack it all up. Osborn's pumpkin bomb has temporarily shut off Parker's spider sense. He hopes that will buy him enough time to find a solution to help Parker with his spider sense. Parker suddenly realizes he has dinner with Aunt May tonight and leaves Oscorp even though Osborn advises him not to, as the effects of the pumpkin bomb will only last a few hours. Aunt May has also invited a few guests, including Jameson, for the dinner. Then after a while, Osborn shows up at the dinner as well. Jameson and Robertson aren't happy to see him there because he was once the Green Goblin. He is confronted by Jameson, who suspects he is plotting something bad against Parker. He tells Jameson that he is now a different man from who he was. His sins have been wiped clean, and now he seeks to make amends. Jameson reminds him that the reason he is alive right now is because Parker took a bullet for him once, and if he ever hurts Parker or his family again, Jameson lets him remember who fired that shot. Not be careful. Aunt May falls off the chair while getting a bowl for Osborn, but she is saved by Parker. Parker's spider sense is now back to normal and can sense everyone is in danger again, so he hurries to save them. Osborn encounters Bailey outside the building and freaks out by his appearance. Bailey declares he is Parker's best ground support out of the 2 of them. He demands Osborn to get back to his lap and figures out a way to fix all of this. But Osborn can't entrust Parker's safety to some unknown child. He says that he has been doing this for years and reveals he is Parker's sidekick. Parker rescues a few people from a falling crane, but some don't appreciate his good deeds. After he saves a man from a subway rail, an explosion occurs nearby, caused by the guys that Electro hired to steal the gold. While Parker beats them up, he also receives damage because he puts them in danger, triggering his spider sense. Then Electro shows up to confront Parker by himself. Electro destroys the building, endangering people's lives to pressure Parker. Parker not only has a hard time saving people, but it also causes him to feel more pain in his head from sensing people's danger. As Parker's life is about to end by Electro, Bailey shows up to save him and declares to him that he is his sidekick. Parker is shocked by that as he has never had a sidekick before. He can't even look after his houseplants. Bailey tells him that he doesn't remember, but they have a whole history, and this happened before. He says Parker tried to change his spider sense so it would work more like his, but Parker couldn't handle it, so it was up to him to bail Parker out, and now he has to bail him out again. He launches his attack onto Electro, blocking his sight by turning his mask around. He demands Parker to go save people's lives while he keeps Electro busy. Osborn has finished creating a weapon that can cure Parker's spider sense. Meanwhile, Aunt May infiltrates Oscorp to confront Osborn about Parker's situation. She blames him that Parker has become like this. He assures her that everything will be fine and swears to turn Parker back to normal. Parker evacuates people from a burning building, and a firefighter he met last time advises him to go help Bailey. While Bailey is in danger, Parker uses a fire truck hose to take down Electro, and it works. But he has to help Electro because he can't withstand the pain he got when Electro was in danger. Electro goes unconscious after getting bitten by Bailey with paralyzing venom, and Osborn suddenly shows up. Parker is surprised that Osborn and Bailey know each other, claiming this is his weirdest day. Osborn wonders if Parker's spider sense is still picking up danger for people in the city. Parker responds that it is, but he thinks that's not such a bad thing. Osborn is mad upon hearing that. He says Parker was lucky that Thanos or Galactus didn't show up, though he tells Parker they need to address this problem right now and deal with Bailey later. Bailey is offended that they want to deal with him who took out the bad guy and saved the day. so he quits helping them. Parker's spider sense returns to normal after Osborn gives him a cure. He isn't satisfied with losing that power because people out there need his help. He calms down once the firefighter explains what Osborn is trying to do. He catches up with Bailey to make it clear that there is no world, never was or ever will be, where he has a sidekick, and ends his bond with him. And that's it for this comic. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos like this. And please don't forget to like to support my content.